A collection of 20 coaches, scouts, and executives completed an off-season survey answering some of the looming questions ahead of the upcoming season. Let's run through some of the most interesting results. Nikola Jokic received the most votes to win his 4th MVP award. Following him is the reigning MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who received 2 less votes than Joker. And to no one's surprise, it's SGA's OKC Thunder team who got 18 of the 20 votes to win the 26th NBA title. The only team to receive votes outside of the Thunder were the Denver Nuggets.
Wow.
And this was an interesting one here. League insiders voted Steph Curry as the best American player right now. Anthony Edwards received 3 less votes than Steph.
No LeBron? What are we doing here?
One player who did not receive any votes, Ramona, for Best American Player was LeBron James.
Okay.
However, the scouts, coaches, and execs were asked where he would be in a year, with the majority saying he would still be on the Lakers or retired from the league entirely. But before we even get to what the future has in store for LeBron, let's take a look at the roster he'll have for year 23. Bobby, take it away.
Well, one thing we do know that LeBron will be on the Lakers roster at the start of this season, of course. And I do think what they've done this offseason, when you're looking at the addition of DeAndre Ayton and certainly Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia, they're in the conversation when we're talking about some of these top teams in the Western Conference. But here are some of the questions we're going into the season. Year 23 of LeBron. That is remarkable. The last time we saw him was that Game 5, limping off the court with that knee injury against Minnesota here. We talked about the newcomers, integrating Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, and Jake LaRavia. The loss of Dorian Finney-Smith. Is there enough perimeter defense? And here's the big thing. Balancing the 2 timelines. Oof. You are a win-now team, but then you also have an eye out in 2026 and 27 when you have potential of $100 million of cap flexibility with Luka on that roster to build around him now. That's going to be the most challenging thing this year, is the 2 timeline approach, win now versus the future.
That's always tough. I feel like every time somebody's trying to go through these 2 timelines, it's a very delicate dance, to your point. Now, Shams, let me ask you this. LeBron in the last year of a contract at the moment, what determines his future?
I think just seeing how this year plays out, I mean, it's clear that he's not sure whether, does he have 1 year left? Does he have another season after that? So 2026, 2027. I did speak to his agent, Rich Paul, at Clutch Sports today, and he told me it's important not to worry about the future when it comes to LeBron James. Just appreciate the present and also maximizing his present. And that, obviously, that onus potentially falling on the Lakers and what team they put around him. But it's obvious. How does he feel about the Lakers going into the season as the year continues on? Can they be a contender moving forward? And I think the other thing that also sits here as well is Bryce James is going to start his freshman year at college. How does he look? How does he look as a prospect? How does he play into the 2026 NBA draft? So these are all things I think LeBron James is going to be open-minded about.
Ramon, let me ask you this, because the poll was basically LeBron's a Laker or LeBron retires. What did you make of that particular distinction?
Well, it's just because it's hard for him to go elsewhere. I mean, Bobby and I call you 7 times a week about how, if they did this, it's just hard for anyone to trade for a guy making $52 million. It's a lot of money. And even he would have to ask for that. He would have to approve of that. And I think that we're in a position now where if he was going to do that, he's had opportunities, whether it be a couple years ago with the Warriors when they came calling, they expressed interest again this summer. The Cavs are on that list because we all know the heartstrings are there in Cleveland. But if they were going to do anything, it would probably have to be before the regular season even started because they're in the second apron. And so I think it's just hard to envision how he would go someplace else unless he asked for that. And Shams, to your point, it's based on how the Lakers do. If they're winning, if they're rolling, I think he blends in. If they struggle out of the gates, or if they hit a rough spot, if somebody has an injury, then I think we have a lot of content to talk about in LA.
You think?
Well, I think the big question is where we are in January with this Lakers team. In a really deep Western Conference, that what happens if you're a 500 team and you're competing just to get into the play-in? Does that change as far as LeBron's mentality of competing for a championship? Because all signs would signal that you probably are not competing for a championship. And Ramona hit on a point there is, listen, once we get into the regular season, those teams that he potentially maybe had an eye on this offseason, whether it be Cleveland or Dallas, those teams don't become in play because of where they are financially.
Look, I mean, the Joker is inevitable. He's like Thanos to me, okay? But were you surprised at how lopsided this was?
Well, I was surprised because then there's another question on there as far as who the MVP is, and Shea got 5 votes, and I think Jokic got 7.
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, well, wait a minute, how come Shea didn't make it onto this year?
Yeah.
I am surprised with that. Certainly the disparity, not that Jokic is number 1, but that nobody else outside of
Giannis would like it.
outside of Luka was even on there.
Look, I covered that series with Denver and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it was a clash of the 2 MVP favorites, right? And Nikola Jokic asserted himself in that series to the point where when you saw them side by side, you saw how important Jokic was to his team, how much he was able to do, how he controlled the game, even on both sides of the ball. It's hard to argue that he's not the best player, and I think even the Thunder would tell you that was the toughest series that they had to get through. If not for Aaron Gordon having an injury in that last game, I don't know what would have happened there. But I am surprised. Giannis should get some votes in that vote. Shea should get some votes, but Jokic is inevitable, as you said. He is that good.
Thanos. Shams, what do you think?
I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, how do you not give him more love? The year that he just had, MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, NBA Finals MVP, his own shoe, NBA 2K. I mean, there's a lot of things you can put in there to say why he might be the best player right now in the world. The disparity to me is what catches me off guard.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm with you guys. Like, I can make a case for a lot of those guys that you put in there. I just think that the Joker is at the peak of his powers right now, and I think guys around the league, coaches, players, who have to deal with him on a day in and day out basis, it's not that they're throwing shade at these other guys. They just know how tough this dude is to beat in a given moment. I mean, think about it. In that series, I was there for 2 of those games, and it could have gone either way in that series. And then Aaron Gordon gets hurt, and we know what happened in Game 7. But they were on the brink of upsetting the OKC Thunder.
Well, and it's amazing because it shows you the thin margin where a Thunder team that was faced with a Game 7 at home. Imagine if you lose that game. We're probably not talking about them right now.
Offseason.
It changes the landscape here, but Oklahoma City wins, and now we're talking about Shea and what the next step is with that group.
But I actually think that will help the Thunder now because they've gone through the 16 and they've won. So now that was the year to get them. If you couldn't get them last year, now I think they're going to be more dominant moving forward. Now, Shams, we have something here on the All-Star format. What do you got?
So the USA versus World will be happening. It's 3 teams. It's a round-robin tournament. 2 U.S. teams, 1 World team. And essentially how this is going to go, I'm told, here are the details. 4 total games, 12 minutes per game. So a total of 48 minutes of action. So it's essentially 1 full game, NBA game regulation. So these 3 teams will face off against each other in 4 total games, 48 total games here in the 2026 All-Star Game, from my understanding.
All right, hopefully we get them to play hard, okay? That's all I want. Just go out there and look, we know the international team is going to play hard, so that means the USA team is going to have to buckle in and get ready.
Where do Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler rank among the NBA's best? As a new season approaches, the Golden State Warriors find themselves once again in the spotlight, not just because of their legacy, but because of a revitalized core led by 2 of the league's most respected veterans, Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. For much of the last decade, the Warriors were the team everyone expected to be in the finals. But reality has shifted. In the past 6 seasons, Golden State has made just 1 finals appearance. So now the question lingers, should expectations be tempered, or is this team poised for one more deep run? If Steph Curry has anything to say about it, the Warriors are far from done. And the front office agrees. At last season's trade deadline, Golden State made a bold move, acquiring 6-time All-Star Jimmy Butler. It didn't take long for the new pairing to click. Together, Curry and Butler posted a remarkable 22-5 record in the regular season, an instant chemistry that surprised even the most optimistic fans. With Curry entering his 17th NBA season and Butler adjusting to his new surroundings, the duo quietly became one of the league's most dangerous combinations. Still elite, still respected. Despite being well into their 30s, both players remain firmly in the conversation among the league's elite. In ESPN's latest Top 100 rankings heading into the 2025-26 season, Curry, 37, and Butler, 36, were both named among the top 20 players in the league, a rare feat for players at this stage in their careers. Curry was ranked No. 7 overall, down just one spot from last year, a testament to his continued excellence. Last season, he averaged 24.5 points, 4.4 rebounds, and 6.0 assists per game, while shooting 39.7% from three and a league-best 93.3% from the free throw line. Even in year 17, he's still one of the most efficient and impactful players in the NBA. As ESPN's Anthony Slater noted, the Warriors outscored opponents by 299 points when Curry was on the court last season, the best on the team. When he sat, they were outscored by 28. His value, even now, remains undeniable. Butler finds his fit. For Butler, the ESPN rankings placed him at No. 18, following a mid-season trade that might have saved the Warriors' year and reshaped his own trajectory. After a difficult final stretch in Miami, Butler arrived in Golden State seemingly re-energized. In his 30 regular season games with the team, he averaged 17.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 1.7 steals, all while adapting to a new system and role. According to Slater, his time with the Warriors was brief, 30 regular season games, 11 playoff games, but spectacular in every way. Most notably, the wins. The team was 25-26 when he arrived. They finished the season on a 23-8 run and went on to eliminate the second-seeded Rockets in the first round of the playoffs. It's not just about numbers for Butler, it's about fit, culture, and purpose. And in Golden State, he may have finally found the right mix. A new chapter, a renewed belief. There are still questions surrounding the Warriors heading into this season. The core is aging. The Western Conference is stacked. And the window, while still open, isn't as wide as it once was. But with Curry and Butler healthy, aligned, and motivated, there's a sense of quiet confidence building around the team. The Warriors were at their best last season when those two shared the floor, not just in terms of production, but in leadership and intensity. And now, after a full off-season together, there's reason to believe they'll be even better. Golden State may not be the undisputed favorite anymore, but they're not fading away either. As long as Steph Curry is leading the charge, and as long as Jimmy Butler is pushing alongside him, this team still has the pieces, and the pedigree, to make a serious run. Momentum and maturity, what comes next for the Warriors? As the Warriors gear up for the 2025-26 season, the focus isn't just on talent, it's on timing. The pairing of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler isn't a long-term experiment. It's a 2 to 3 year window, at best, and everyone within the organization knows it. That sense of urgency is shaping everything, from preseason planning to locker room conversations. According to team sources, Curry and Butler have taken a more hands-on role in player development and daily preparation during training camp. The coaching staff, meanwhile, has built out new schemes specifically designed to maximize the strengths of its two veteran stars. There's a real seriousness this year, one Warriors assistant told The Athletic. They know the opportunity is there, but they also know it's not guaranteed. That's bringing out the best in both of them. The chemistry between Curry and Butler is more than just functional, it's intentional. Off the court, the two have grown close, forming a partnership rooted in mutual respect and a shared competitive edge. While Curry remains the undisputed face of the franchise, Butler's voice has become increasingly important behind the scenes, challenging teammates, holding film sessions, and setting a physical tone in practice. Adjustments and depth. One of the key takeaways from the end of last season was that the Warriors system had to evolve. While the classic motion offense still runs through Curry, the addition of Butler has brought new wrinkles, more half-court creation, more isolation flexibility, and critically, a stronger defensive anchor on the wing. Golden State also added key rotation players this offseason to complement their veteran duo. Younger wings and defensive-minded role players were targeted specifically to give Butler room to operate on both ends, while reducing the physical load on Curry across 82 games. Internally, the coaching staff believes this team, though older on the surface, might be more balanced than any Warriors roster since 2019. League-wide perspective. Around the league, the Curry-Butler pairing has drawn quiet admiration, and some concern. Executives from rival Western Conference teams view the Warriors as a legitimate threat, particularly if the supporting cast stays healthy. Some believe the duo's success last season was no fluke, citing their playoff win over Houston and a top-tier net rating when sharing the floor. Others remain cautious, pointing to the age of both stars and the increasingly competitive West. With Oklahoma City, Denver, and Phoenix all boasting younger cores, some insiders wonder whether Golden State can keep pace over the long haul. But there's also a prevailing belief that in a 7-game series, few players remain as dangerous as Curry, and now he has a partner who shares that postseason pedigree. Looking ahead, contention or transition? For now, the Warriors are focused on winning. The front office isn't treating this season as a farewell tour, but they are aware that windows close quickly in today's NBA. Curry is under contract through 2027, but with each year, the weight of last chances becomes heavier. Butler, meanwhile, seems to have found new life in Golden State. After years of carrying heavy expectations in Miami, the fit in the Bay Area has been described by those around him as liberating. He's energized, competitive, and by all accounts, determined to make the most of this chapter. Jimmy's not just trying to prove something, a team source said. He's trying to win, and do it the right way. That matters here. If both stars stay healthy and continue to lead by example, the Warriors won't just be contenders, they'll be one of the most dangerous veteran teams in the league. And if this season ends with a deep playoff run, or even one more title, it could mark one of the most impressive late-career resurgences in recent NBA history.